Talk about conviction. I'm definitely not going to want my wife to listen to this one today. If she tunes in, I'm in trouble. But welcome to Inchstones. It's a corresponding proverb for the corresponding day, and we run through Proverbs, 3,000-year-old wisdom. And I always like to take things, no matter what it is, and filter it through wisdom as opposed to opinion. And my buddy Greg Reed told me that if you seek counsel, which is from people who have been there, who have done it, as opposed to opinion, people just that just have a thought process of it but have never done it, you'll actually be in a little bit different place. So seeking counsel as opposed to opinion, it will help you in every way. And that's why the reason why I like to filter every single thing through Proverbs, which is 3,000-year-old wisdom. And in this proverb, it hit me on a topic that I'm going to get in trouble about, because this is not coming from a judgment side. This is not coming from I'm standing over the top of you saying that you have to do these things. I'm saying that I fail on this probably more often than anything else in my life. And that word is recover. And from a very early age as a kid, I had the, FOMO. I didn't even want to go to sleep because I thought that I was going to miss something. And it's one of those things, it's wild, because as I was going through this, I realized that on the flip side of it, to push to one more, those are things that we're taught to do, that we're excited about. We can do this stuff, one more push-up, one more of this, one more of that, and we just kind of push through a little bit. But when it comes to recovering, one more hour, just one more minute, one more day, one more week, whatever it is that we need to recover, we have the tendency to slight ourselves of that and say that, no, we need to push through and do the other side, and we need to work harder. We need to do all these things. And the recover part is something that I've never been good at. I'm still working at, but it was something that God was big on me this last Sunday, because we had a very long day with my daughter. We got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, drove to LA, and then did her drama competition, which was absolutely amazing. And then we got back at midnight, and I found myself almost resisting sleep, resisting, the recovery stage that next day. And this is something that I learned from my brother a lot, Big Rob, where this man is a professional recoverer. He's constantly looking and saying, how can I recover so I can be the best as I move forward? And in Proverbs 20, it's incredible, because God warns us of all the distractions that are going to come when recovery should be the number one on the docket. Doesn't mean we're recovering all the time, but when that recovery happens, there's always going to be 100,000 distractions and reasons why you shouldn't recover. But Proverbs 20 just really drives it home. So why don't we get this party started?
Achieving, cause we believing it's for certain. We put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting right before your eyes. So it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
If you don't know already, the Vibe Room is coming November 9th. It's almost sold out, and it is going to be an incredible, incredible night. We've got Janae Thompson. She has over 12.6 million subscribers on YouTube. We've also got Keith Hale, Coach Keith, unbelievable human being, one of the baddest coaches on the planet. And then we have leadership specialist and also one of the baddest yogis on the planet, which is Baron Baptiste. And it's going to be an incredible night. We've also got Curtis Nieder, who is going to be playing music there. It's going to be unreal. It's a live version of the podcast, and you can't miss this. Also, to pick up the book, The Vibe, if you don't already have it. It's on Amazon. You could click the link. What it goes over is 5 different components of your business and your relationships, the culture, the systems, the productivity, innovation, and the ability to adapt immediately. But it's all powered by the vibe, which is the secret ingredient that powers or that changes everything. And honestly, like if you want to shift your vibe, you'll take your heart set, which is your beliefs, your mindset, which is your intentions, and your skill set, which is your actions. Put them in line, you create an irresistible vibe. And then all of your product, your price, your offering, all those things fall away because people just want to be a part of you, because the vibe is not the energy you bring into the room. It is simply the way that people feel when you leave. Pick up Bling too, Bling Shine Serum. It is adds moisture, strength, and shine. And that's all the commercials that I have for you. But let's get into Proverbs 20 because it hit me hard. Just think of all the times when you're going to recover and then there's distractions that happen. Well, what will happen is the world will try and get you so distracted that it gets you in a frantic state of mind, and that frantic state of mind causes you not to be able to do the thing that you need to do, which is recover. Now, again, I'm not coming from a judgment standpoint. I'm actually working through this myself because I resist recovery all the time. If you worked with me in the salons, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There would be times where, it would be doing 17 to 25 guests a day. We would be running hard. People would ask me, do you need to take a break or sit down for a second? And I'd be like, no, I don't need to sit down. I just need to work, because I thought that was a badge of honor. And I thought it was that badge that I'd be able to, my pride was telling me, like, if I could work harder than everybody, if I could put in all this work, then some way I'll get some reward. Well, the reward was my body breaking down, my mind breaking down, my spirit breaking down, and me making sometimes decisions, whether it be in leadership or just in my life, that weren't the greatest, because I was tired, because I was broken down, and because I was exhausted, because I didn't take the time to recover. And it's incredible because in Proverbs 20, it talks all about how we can recover, and also to look at the distractions that are going to come when you go to recover. In Proverbs 20, verse 1, 8, 23, and 28, it talks about keep a sober mind and to seek wisdom. Keep a sober mind and seek wisdom. So you see, most of the time what we have the tendency to do when we have a challenge in our life, we'll look at the circumstantial situation as opposed to the principle-based situation, which is the wisdom. So we'll look at the circumstance and say, how should I react in this circumstance? As opposed to stepping back and saying, what are the principles that I live by? What is the truths that I live by? And how can I apply them in this circumstance? And this was a big thing with my mom growing up. She was never a circumstantial person. She was always a principle-based person, because she wanted to filter every single thing through wisdom. And where do we get wisdom? From the fear of God. Take fear and replace it with respect. That's what the word in the context was at the time. That was an interchangeable word. Respect comes from seeing someone's words and actions. When they're in line, then you have the tendency to respect them. And the respect of God is going to bring you wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge. And when you have that, it's amazing. Keep a sober mind, because when we keep a sober mind, it's not just talking about alcohol or drugs or things like that, but sometimes it's talking about exhaustion. Sometimes it's talking about being overworked or plagued with all these things that cause us to be a little bit more frantic. Calm it down a little bit, take a breath, breathe, right? Like my pops would say all the time, boy, you just need to breathe, drink water, and pray. I didn't want to listen to him, but you know what? It helped to keep a sober mind. In verse 2, it talked about fear will paralyze you. So when your mind goes frantic, it creates all these scenarios that cause you to fear. And how many of you guys, I've done this before, where I fear, like, oh man, what'll happen if? What happens if this? And then I run down the scenario and I almost work myself up so much that I'm not allowed to recover because my mind is so frantic. In verse number 3, pride leads to strife. Strife never ends well. Pride leads to strife. Strife never ends well. So sit in that for a second and realize that when you're striving for something, it generally never ends well. And pride will start that, because my pride would cause me to work my face off, not eat or not take a break, whatever it was. And I'm not saying that hard work isn't a bad thing. It builds foundation, it builds character, things like that, but also take the time to recover. And this was a very important one in verse 4, 7, 10, 11, 13, 16, 17, 29, and 30. Watch this. Consistent, diligent work profits. 4 words that literally will change your life. I saw a video the other day on social, and it was talking about, it just showed a rabbit, and a tortoise, and it was actually a real one. And they put them in and they raced, and the rabbit would run fast and then just stop and just get distracted. And then the tortoise just kept moving, kept moving, kept moving. And I was like, there's no way this big old tortoise is going to win. And he did, because the rabbit would have bursts of energy and then get distracted. And what it had listed over the top of the hare or the rabbit was motivation. And then over the top of the tortoise was consistency. And consistent, diligent work profits. What is diligent? Just right work, right? Diligent is right work. It's not busy work, it's right work. And so sometimes the most important right work that you'll do is to recover your soul, your body, your spirit, your mind, recover. In verse 5, 12, 18, 21, 25, and 26, insight is a blessing. And with circumstantial things, take a breath. When something happens, take a breath. Look back. So in our company, what we did is we had 4 core principles that every single person could recite. And if people cannot recite your core values, they're not your core values. They're just a placard on the wall that you're really excited about writing and don't have any power at all. Those 4 things, number 1 was show up on time. It's a respect of your time, your team's time, and the guest time. So be on time, right? And for us, 15 minutes before your shift was on time. If you were 14 minutes before your shift, you were late. And there was no argument in this because it was communicated before. Number 2 was wear black. Wear black because we all wore black together. No one was more important than the other. And we also wanted to distinguish between the person who was providing the service and the person who was receiving it. It also created camaraderie. Number 3 was to smile. And we always used to joke and say that, if you can't come to work with a smile on your face, go to bed with a coat hanger in your mouth. Happy people make more money and have a more prosperous situation. I tell you, when you put a smile on your face, it's an unfair advantage. And the last one was when you sweep up hair into the dustpan, simply empty out the dustpan, because no one should have to deal with your garbage before they deal with their own. And we said this figuratively and literally. We wanted people to drop. We actually put a trash can outside of our salon at times and said, every day when you walk in, drop all your trash before you walk into this place, because no one should have to deal with your garbage before they deal with their own, because they're dealing with their own anyway. So everything is 70 and sunny, meaning that it's a great day no matter what day it is, right? And so we knew these core principles. So what we would ask, and they would be like, well, what about this specific situation? We'll run it up against the core principles that we have. And can it hold water? And if it could hold water, then we keep doing it. So that insight is a blessing. And so when you have insight, it means that you understand your core values, and then you just filter every single circumstance through those core values. In verse 6, 9, 14, 15, 19, and 20. Watch this. Talk is cheap, but words are invaluable. Talk is cheap, but words are invaluable. You can say anything that you want, and unless you back it up and you add action to it, it doesn't matter anyway. But there's words that are invaluable that when you speak life to somebody, when you encourage someone. I got to encourage my buddy Rob yesterday, and we were in men's group, and he came in. He was off the night shift. He works for the Carlsbad Police Department. Amazing guy, serves our community, incredible, and thank you for your service. But when he came in, he was tired, he was broken down, everything like that. And then I just, I got to sit with him. I got to actually cut his hair for him, change him up a little bit. And when I did, during the men's group, I actually did the haircut during the men's group. And while this is happening, what was so incredible is I got to turn him back to the mirror, and I said, this is what God sees of you even when you're tired. And it was just those few words that lifted him up a little bit. He smiled. I tell you, your words are invaluable, but your talk is cheap. And as we finish up is verse 24 and 27. Ask yourself, and this is the question that my pops always asked me, is do you want your best or you want God's best? Do you want your best or you want God's best? And is this situation your best in your life, or is it God's best? And I could tell you this. Every single time that I've chosen my best, it is paled in comparison to what God would be able to have. And every single time that he brings the blessing, the only reason why he does is because he wants you to tell the story. And if he brings it quote, out of the blue or no way you can explain it, guess how you have to explain it? Oh, wow, let me turn your eyes to the Lord also. And that's all he wants, is he wants the story. See, in this time, do you want your best or do you want God's best? And God's best is for you to work when he has you to work, recover when he has you to recover, bless others when he has you to do that. But the only way is when we stay in communication with him. You see, it breaks down like this. You'll prepare, you'll work hard, and then you'll recover. And enjoy it wherever you're at. That's what God calls us to do. Let me say it again. Prepare. You'll be either in a preparation stage, you'll be in a working hard stage, or you'll be in a recovery stage. But fall in love with whatever stage you're in and stay in that until God has you to be in the other place. I want to encourage every single one of you. This has been Inchstones. This is Proverbs 20, the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. I want to do a big shout out to Jimmy. Thank you so much for your encouraging words. You have no idea how much they mean. If you haven't commented on the podcast, it means the world to me. I respond to every single one of them. I respond to the comments. I'm doing those things. Make sure you subscribe, that you put on your notifications. Stacy, put on your notifications. I appreciate you. I love you. Put on your notifications so you know that when we're on. Check out the Vibe Room Bling, the book. And thank you so much for tuning in to Inchstones. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat, baby. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised.